Hi there, and welcome to the winter edition of EWI Store Chat. I've got Jimmy, or James, here with me, and we're just going to have a little quick chat about winter products, basically, about getting people to work throughout those winter months externally, even though they're a bit silly because I'd rather be inside, feet up, with a fire on. But most people tend to work outside from early March all the way through to end of November, because basically a lot of systems can't cope with the weather. Exactly. Most products have a kind of 5 to 25 degree kind of working temperature, but we've got a few tricks up our sleeves just to prolong that external working time. So
I see. Well, what are these tricks that we have up our sleeves, Henry?
We've got in the system, basically you've got a base coat, you've got mesh, primer, and then a top coat. Yeah. So as you know, most of the time, all of those products have a 5 to 25 degree working time.
Gotcha.
So you put your base coat on. If it's under 5 degrees, it's not going to dry.
So definitely not ideal for these temperatures.
Exactly. And outside now, it's December the 19th now, and it's probably 3 degrees outside. So I know you get quite a few phone calls.
I do, definitely.
How do we install in this? I need to finish the job or need to do the extension.
Or the base coat's not going off, or the render isn't dry yet. So
yeah. So that's where this comes in. This is a winter adhesive, winter base coat. It's got that extra 5 degrees, so you can do it down to 0 degrees, which is good. Because a dry base coat means then the top coat has more chance of drying as well.
Exactly.
So this goes off quite quickly. You've still got enough time to work with it, but the important thing is, you can use it from 0 degrees, which is good. So that's the base coat there.
Can you stick EPS with that?
I'll tell you what, the cameraman's come up with a genius point there. Yes, so this is equivalent to our 220, which is base coat and adhesive.
Exactly.
So you can stick the EPS boards using this as well.
So it's basically dual purpose is what you're trying to
Exactly, dual purpose. Yes, perfect. Right. So as we know, dry base coat means dry system that'll go off pretty quickly, even in 1, 2, 3 degrees. Something like that. So that's pretty good.
And besides the winter adhesive and base coat, I mean, what other tricks do we have up our sleeve?
So once you've done the kind of base coat layer, the next stage of the system is, aside from priming, but that's fine. That will go off in kind of any temperature really. Is the top coat.
Gotcha.
So this is a tub here of premium biosilicon. This is typically what people would be putting on the top of the range, but this kind of format, so tubbed bucket, basically.
Gotcha.
Now, when you apply this onto the wall, sometimes it does take quite a long time to kind of cure. The whole curing process takes, a full kind of 28 days, but the drying time typically is, in the summer months, it can be only, 12, 24 hours, something like that.
Exactly.
As soon as it gets to winter, that gets a little bit longer. And as soon as you prolong that drying period, you are more likely for it to be affected by rain and wind and things like that. If you get high winds, you get a little pinholing, and rain obviously just washes it straight up.
Gotcha.
So that's where we've got these little things.
What's that?
Render accelerator.
All right.
Absolutely stinks, so it's good. Really smells bad. But basically, you shove one of those in each bucket.
Gotcha.
Chard lock, empty it out, mix it up, and then apply. All that's doing is that's creating a kind of skin on that top coat, which then means that it's less likely to be influenced by negatively impacted by weather and rain and wind.
That's
and
very
things like that.
interesting.
So it means that basically if you have a look at the weather forecast and you see it's raining in 2 days, this should, obviously look, it's not going to work absolute miracles when you've got thunderstorms and everything like that coming. But it's all about just giving the installer just little head starts over everything. So, you can start doing this in December, you can do it in January, you can do it in February without... cameraman's got another question. Here we go.
Is it only for premium bio or is it on
No,
as well?
no. So these are all for tubs. You can use these in all tubbed renders. So you've got acrylic, you've got silicon silicate, silicon, and then the premium biosilicon. So it can be used in all of the tubbed top coats, basically.
I see. And opposed to using just the normal render as to using it with the accelerator, What's the time difference, would you say?
It's pretty tricky to kind of nail down an absolute, it will shave off X amount of hours.
Yes.
Because a lot of times it depends on, the orientation of the wall, whether it's in the shade, whether it's, this, that and the other. But you'd expect it to be, as I said before, normal application, it'd take, 48 hours to dry, something like that. But with this render accelerator, within kind of 12 hours, it's formed that skin.
Gotcha.
So it should, that should give it protection there. So it's very hard to say, but
it's definitely worth it
because it depends where it is. But absolutely, yeah, 100% worth it. They're not expensive, not expensive at all. So I mean, one of those per bucket, and you're done. Yeah, pretty easy.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
And with regards to, you were talking about mineral render.
Yeah. So another way. So you've got the top coat here in the tubs, which is kind of the silicone based.
Yeah.
So pre-mixed, pre-coloured. That is kind of through coloured. That's then obviously applied onto the wall. The other way of looking at it is going for a mineral render. I don't know if you can see that, but mineral render. So that comes in bags. Now this is a top coat.
All right.
So it's not a base coat. Don't get confused with it with the winter adhesive or anything, or just because it's in a bag. So the mineral render, pour it into the bucket, mix it up with the water.
That's very light.
Well, I'm strong, Jack. I'm strong. 25 kg. There we go. The mineral render, you apply that on, but it's a bit different from the tubs because it's not a through colour. It's not a finished article there. It's not a finished product.
I see.
You need to then coat that with a silicone paint.
I see. So it's not coloured. It's not like a Montague scratch paint.
No, and you wouldn't even want to leave it, without painting it, because you might get kind of little patches coming through because it's not designed to be a kind of finished product.
I see.
But the benefit of it is that you've still got that 1.5 mil grain size, or 1 mil or 2 mil or whatever. You get that for 1.5 usually,
yes.
don't you? But the benefit is it does dry very quickly.
All right.
Dries very quickly compared to this, so that will dry solid in literally 12, 24 hours.
Okay.
And then you won't have those. If it rains 2 days later, you'll be fine.
Gotcha.
But you do have to then come back and paint it. That's the only slight issue. But it means that you don't. Imagine if you use this without the render accelerator, and then it rains 2 days later,
well, then it looks
or
like
a day
you have to
later,
do it again anyway.
you have to do the whole bloody thing anyway. So you may as well mineral render, paint it, or use the accelerator, and then it gives you. It's all about basically maximising how many months you can work with this stuff.
Time and efficiency.
Exactly. I mean, especially when you're using the insulation system, when people are wanting to basically keep their house warm. So it might get to December, or late November, early December, and they might go, right, hang on, I want this done. I want an insulated house for Christmas.
Gotcha.
So you may have to be doing these jobs in December.
So do you think that this would be, all of these products combined would be really good for you to carry you through the winter season?
Yeah, exactly. There's no reason why you should be working and finishing a job in November and then thinking, oh, right, I'm going to stop that and move inside.
I see.
There's no need. You can work outside with this, which is, it's good. It's a real benefit. Real benefit adds a couple of months onto the whole
so
year.
So you could be rendering all the way up to Christmas and past that even.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then starting again January. No reason why not. Yeah. So there we go. Any more questions? No, I think. Cameraman, any more questions? No. All good. There you go. Join us next time. So there you go. Thanks for watching. If you want any more information about this, if we didn't explain it quite right, or you want more information, then have a look online. www.ewistore.co.uk and you'll find all of the information there.
Or pop down to Unit 1 Kingston Business Centre at KT9 1DQ and come in and visit us and see what we have to offer.